All good? Yeah. All right. Good to be here. Thank you for coming on a Monday night. All right. So today I'm going to be playing a bunch of songs for you. Just a few though, with my band, the iPhone. These guys are very well rehearsed. Anyways, we're going to be explaining a lot about the equipment. See, you made it. Thank you. About the guitars, the amps. Also, we'll be taking questions from you guys. Whatever you want to talk about. The instruments, the music, the technique, gardening, fishing, interior design, transmissions, whatever. Without further ado, I'm going to shut up and start playing a little bit. That song was called The Quest. It's on my brand new album, which is a mega hit in Jakarta. It's called Brand New Revolution. I'm gonna play a couple more instrumentals for you guys. Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about the equipment that I use here today and generally explain what it is that I'm doing here and what it is that I've created with these companies here. So starting off from the guitars, obviously ESP, I've been using these for yeah, more than 10 years. We have had different signature lines together with ESP. This is the latest one, and I'm very involved usually with the specs, together with the custom shop people in Japan. This one is, like I said, it's my newest one, and it's available on ESP and basically LTD 200 here, you can see. Rosewood fretboard, 24 frets, maple neck in the back. Well, the LTD, I guess it has full color in the back as well, but the ESP is in maple. What else? Spurzle tuners. The pickups are Seymour Duncan. They are my signature pickups. They are the 5 blackouts, which they might look passive, but they are active actually. So they come together with a preamp, potentiometer, which is actually under the volume knob. 3-way switch. Standard bridge, stoptail bridge, matte black color, very gothic kind of look. We also did the same kind of vibe on the Eclipse guitar that I released. But that one is, we don't have it here unfortunately today, but you can check it out online. It's basically the same kind of thing, but with white binding on the body and 22 frets. And the difference is also on the inlays. Here on this one, the Random Star has my symbol inlays, whereas the other one has a more classic look. What else? Regarding the amps, I've been playing Blackstar for the last 5 years. We have developed a signature amp called the Blackfire 200. We don't have it here today. I think it's been sold out quite a long time ago. We only made 200 heads available worldwide. But today I'm playing the Series 1200 head, which is also pretty awesome. It's a 2 or 3 channel amp, I think. I'm not so sure. I think it's 3 channels, yeah. Clean, overdrive, and super crunch, yeah. What else? The cool thing about these amps, in my opinion, is the DPR technology, which is the really far right knob here. DPR, what that does, it allows you to drive the power amp as hard as up to 100 watts in this case, or if the 200 watt heads that I play all the way up to 200 watts, or as low as 10 watts or 20 watts, depending on the head you're using. And now what that allows you to do is you can drive up the power amp, and you can really, the more you turn it down, you know, the sound is a bit more close and tighter, or you turn it up and you get a bit more harmonics and wider distortion, more fuzzy. So yeah, you can get a lot of variation of tones out of this amp. Of course, another cool feature is the ISF, which, you know, the more you turn to the right is US style, or to the left is US style, to the right it's more UK style. Basically scoops the mids. On the US side is a bit more of a Mesa Boogie tone, whereas on the right it's a bit more British Marshall kind of vibe. So yeah, that's it regarding the amps. Regarding the effects, I don't use a whole lot. I just have like a delay pedal here that I use on the loop. A little booster. I just borrowed these from the store here, so thank you guys. My usual pedal board I didn't even bring here. It's very simple as well. It has just a tuner, a wah pedal, and a chorus, and an overdrive pedal, which I created with BB. It's called the G Screamer. Well, that's it more or less. My setup is very basic, both live, I mean on stage and on the records. It's just the guitar and the amp primarily. Now, if you guys have any questions, just raise your hands and we can, you know, I'll be happy to answer if I can.
What's the little switch to your guitar?
Oh, this here. That's it's not a. It's on the production line. I took it away. On my custom shop, I have it here. Well, what that did originally when I was playing passive pickups, it was a coil splitter. So, you know, from a humbucker, you could get, you know, to split it and make it single coil, but you cannot do that with active pickups. So now it worked as a kill switch. So that kind of thing. But it's a pain in the jazz if you ask me. I don't use it so much. Yeah. Yes.
About the shape of the guitar, is that comfortable to play the edge?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so used to it. I've been playing it for so many years. So
Because
and the cool thing is that, huh?
It's always breaking in your body.
No, it's not.
No.
And you can play it like this, or you can have it like as a V style like this.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
No.
I mean, you can play. I mean, for me, it was when I was playing that, and then I went to a Les Paul shape, the Eclipse. It was hard to play that because I'm used to have my hand. I had to have this piece of wood here, so my hand kind of like rests up like that here. And then when that was not there, it felt weird for me. You know?
Yeah.
But it's all a matter of getting used to it, you know. Yep. Anybody? Actually, can we kill a little bit those lights here and put more lights on the people just a little bit because I can't see anything. Now you all look like Smurfs. Yes, Michael.
Could you sign my guitar later on?
Of course. Yes. Anybody? Come on, it's 3,000 of you in here. You can't be all shy. Okay. Yeah.
How's it like working with a legend like Ozzy Osbourne?
It's awesome. It's amazing. Yeah, very easy going. I mean, you know,
How did that come apart? It was big in the news when you took over the job from Zack Wild, which was like for many years the
yes.
guitarist of him. Suddenly you were there, you did a terrific job.
Thank you.
How did something like that get in,
How what?
come to that movement?
Oh, I don't know. I think they found out about me somehow. I don't know how I got on the radar. It's just I just got invited to audition. I had no idea what was going on. I had my band and I was just touring, and one day somebody contacted me. And it's very strange, you know.
I imagine that should be kind of surreal.
It is.
Someone like
It
Ozzy
is. Yeah, of
is
course.
calling you.
Yeah.
Especially when you could follow up someone like Zack Wild.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. It's the most intimidating and the coolest gig you can have. Right. All right, guys, you're too fucking shy. I'm gonna play another song. I think you haven't had enough beers already, but it's a Monday night, right? Who drinks on a Monday night?
5 top guitar players?
5 top. Okay, good one. I would probably say, in no particular order, I would say Tony Iommi, Ingrid Malmsteen, Uli John Roth, Michael Schenker, and Gary Moore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah. What about Richie Blackmore?
him too. He has top 5, so I'm probably talking about like really close top 5, but doesn't matter. Could be top 25. I love them all the same. Yeah, my friend in the back here, yeah.
If you play so much guitar and you're playing guitar all day, do you sometimes play alone? At home?
Yeah.
I just was wondering if you play so much with so many people.
Yeah, of course I play alone, yeah.
Do you also use a Blackstar?
Yeah, more or less. They've sent me a bunch of the amps, so my house is full of them, so I have, well lately I'm usually too lazy when I'm at home, so I have this little thing they put out, it's called the Fly, which is just like a little battery driven, yeah, just like with batteries, you know, I don't even want to plug into, you know, to power, I just have it in the living room, and just have it there, and then have it ready, and then in case I want to play, I just plug into that. It's very easy. Yep.
Hey, I have a question about the second song you played. I heard a lot of influences from Racer X.
Absolutely.
Paul Gilbert.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
It's my Paul Gilbert rip-off song.
Okay. So you play Ibanez then?
Yeah, I was never a fan of those guitars because they were too. I mean, I don't want to say anything bad about any company really.
Okay, so
For me, it was just too slim.
okay.
Those guitars, and I like my guitars with a thicker neck, and
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Okay.
But the influence has nothing to do with the company you use, so I have to say.
Okay.
Yeah. I grew up on a Stratocaster, so it doesn't matter.
Thank
Who
you.
else? Yeah.
How did the development of your pickups go with Seymour Duncan? Did you get a bunch of their models they already had, or did they start from scratch?
Well, the idea was, I said to them, why do you have to play either passive or active pickups? You know, why can't we combine both? So they came up with an idea called the Blackout's Coil Pack, which was this idea, the center coil, and you basically make it active. Based upon that, we did a different voicing for my pickup.
And there's a preamp involved then? Or
There is, yeah, like I said before, it's behind the volume.
What does that do there for the pickup? Is it the main sound?
It gives you. I mean, you have a lot of high. You know, it's a high output pickup. It's 12 dB higher than any other active pickup out there. So.
Just for 9 volts, or is it
No,
higher?
9 volt. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a pretty. It's a pretty. It's for heavy duty playing. It's not a very tight pickup. If you like tighter sound, it's not for you. But if you like a bigger tone, like more open and stuff, it's perfect. You know, it gives you really high output, but it also doesn't kill your tone. It really responds well. Like, for example, if I could play, if I'm like all the way up to turn. Turn down the volume. So it really responds well to your picking attack and dynamics, which is very cool.
It almost behaves like a passive pickup.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you have that. It kind of like has a combination of the two worlds in that vein. Yeah. So you really have a lot of, you know, it really responds very nice to your picking attack and your volume swells. And then again, like I said, it's a really high output pickup. Yeah. Hey man.
Hi. How do you feel interaction with your technical man?
What?
The technical man who guitar who play the guitar.
The technical?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Rudy. No, Rudy, no, the guitar tech. The guitar tech for the action, the moments. Who,
How does he set it up?
yeah, the guitar.
My guitar's set up. I mean, my action is more or less the normal.
Well, who do that? You do it by yourself or?
No, I have a couple of guitar techs. I have one in America and that in Europe. I mean, I work with different people. So, yeah.
How that works?
How that works?
Yeah, what you ask.
I asked him to do a good fucking job.
Yeah. But they know what you
Well, you kind of like, yeah, they'll do, I usually tell them exactly how I want it, and then they might do something else, and then you kind of like get to know each other. If it's like a new guy, yeah, I'll just tell him this is what I like and all that. But the guy I've had, like the guy that I work with back home, I basically trained him. So I've had him for 5 years, so he knows exactly all my gear, and I just started working with a new guy in America, and yeah, it's the same thing, you know.
What you want is the action in the comments, the action,
Well, usually when somebody takes a job like that, they see how your guitar is set up, and they know. If they're, if they're pro enough, they know how to do it. Yeah.
What's your opinion about 7 strings? Do you play them?
No, not really. I have no opinion about it. It's cool for whoever likes it.
Steve Vai.
Huh?
Steve Vai.
Yeah. I learned how to play guitar with 6 strings.
Okay. Do you also play acoustic?
Not that good, but I have a few acoustics. Yeah. I mean, I use them in my records for certain parts. Yeah.
How many hours do you practice normally? When you look at stories from Saviani, you play like 12 hours a day when you were younger,
Well,
15 hours a day.
Yeah, I was like on a similar thing, when I was younger, like 8, 10 hours or more. But here's the thing: is like somebody always says. This is a question, like you say, I hear that most every day now when I've been doing these clinics, and I would like to say that. Without wanting to discourage anybody, really, because people tell me, well, I don't have that many hours a day, I have a job or whatever, or I have 3 kids and they're crying, it's just a thing where you should be playing music, first of all. I mean, the thing is, you should be doing music because it's fun, not because you want to be, of course it's cool if you want to be the best you can be. I mean, for me, that was my motivation, and you just put in as much as it should be fun. It should be like a nice struggle, not a miserable one, So for me, that's very important that you have fun with the instrument. Whether you have time to play 20 minutes a day or something, and you're still 20 minutes better today than you were yesterday. So nobody should worry. I mean, you shouldn't worry about that. Obviously, when you see a guy who's doing it for pro and stuff, and it's like a life dedication, and it's something that you do professionally, you can tell somebody has been putting in many hours for many years. I did the same thing when I was a teenager. So,
Are you influenced by Akira from Japan? Because the shape of your guitar?
Yeah. Not really. I mean, I like his playing. I love loudness, but it was not like one of my favorites when I was growing up. But I really, I think he's awesome. Yeah.
What gauge strings do you use? How about that?
It's 10 to 56, and you can go on a whole step. Yeah. You. The picks are actually they're made from ESP in Japan, and they're a little bit bigger than the Jazz 3s. Come here. Come here. See? Yeah, you can keep that one. Yeah, you can keep that.
Yeah.
You just have to pick up destiny. before a show, sometimes more.
What kind?
I do the usual stuff like chromatics. That doesn't sound musical at all, but yeah, those kind of things. Trills, you know, things like that. Hammer-ons. And all strings, or like legato stuff. Those things. Or like, yes, I'm like, but I'll do like different combinations of fingers, so like, especially the second and third, or third and fourth, to get those warmed up. Whatever, I guess, chords or scales, yeah. Yeah, the quest was just a combination of different riffs that I had, and then I basically put the riffs together, and it was kind of like a sequence of riffs and ideas, and I just put melodies over that and themes.
No special idea or something?
Well, I had this idea about the intro. I had an idea about how the intro should be, which is like this arpeggio thing. And then from there it was just like a lot of just a riff. I had this riff. Yeah. Stupid crazy riff, but I just added some things over that, and I don't know, it was just like one of all those things, and like I said, 2 or 3 riffs. I don't know how it came together.
For me, it's like you're telling the story. This song.
Yeah, that's how I wanted it to be as well. When I was doing the themes issue, I wanted it to lead somewhere, you know. So there's all this technical stuff when it starts, and then it leads into a big melody, and then goes on from there, and on and on. Yeah.
Is that normally the way how you write, or do you have a certain method?
Well, first of all, I don't do actually a lot of instrumentals. I mean, I'm playing a collection of instrumentals that I've had through the years here, but I usually write songs with vocals in mind. And the way it comes together is just like I have the riffs, and then I put them together, and then I usually work with a singer, whatever it is, and then we do, you know, he does the melodies and sends me back the demos, and then we collaborate and all that, and that's how we finish songs. Somebody else who wasn't, yeah.
Does Ozzy and his people tell you specifically how to play a song, which style, or like which guitar player, or do you get to be Gus G and Ozzy's band?
No, they never gave me any directions, which in the beginning was kind of confusing for me because I didn't know what they wanted. But Ozzy always told me, be yourself, just be you, do your thing. But I knew when he was saying that, obviously he wanted me to play the songs as they are originally, you know, because that was always my approach. I think he liked that. I think that made him feel comfortable. So that was always my approach, you know. And of course, you know, you play your songs with your own sound, you know, it comes out naturally. But the notes remain the same. You know, especially with a lot of those iconic solos, you have to kind of like honor those.
My daughter plays guitar also, and she wants to know how to become a rock star.
It's a complicated question. Well, I don't know if there's how to become a rock star. Well, get a really cool outfit, cool pair of sunglasses, a cool guitar, and pose in front of the mirror. But I mean, it really isn't as not as glamorous as people think. It requires a lot of sacrifice when it comes to all that. You know, you have to be away from home a lot, traveling a lot. Sometimes the conditions aren't that great, you know, when you're playing the club circuits and stuff. And eventually, if you do it long enough, I guess for 15 or 20 years, you'll get a moment in the sun, and everybody thinks that it's all easy, but it's not really easy actually. You know, like I always say that, you know, you have to do this because you really love music, not for the fame or money, because you're probably in the wrong business. I mean, okay, you can get some fame, but you know, that doesn't bring happiness. to me, music brings happiness. You know, creating music and playing in front of people.
Thank you.
Yeah. And she's probably thinking, what a loser. Yeah.
Are you a completely self-taught musician?
No, not at all actually. I went to a conservatory back in Greece when I was, grew up there, and it was an interesting time for me, going to a conservatory and learning about scales and theory and harmony, and learning how to read and learning chords and what is the meaning of each thing, and then intervals and doing ear training and all kinds of classes. It was very, very cool. Very, very inspiring, and just absorbing a lot of information. And of course, at the same time, I would just do a lot of practicing on my own at home, learning my favorite solos. Yeah.
You have your own solo project or band.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. How do you choose your musicians for that band? Do you choose them by personality, by skill, or how do you choose your bandmates?
Well, first of all, they have to be cute. No. I don't know. It's just. I mean, I have a lot of friends, musicians, and over the years, I just, for me, with the solo records, was just a chance to collaborate with a lot of friends that I wanted to do that for a long time, or some of the people I met through the guy who was mixing my first record, Jerry Rustin, or other people came through the label. They would suggest that I write with this producer or that guy, and it was just interesting for me to just branch out of what I've been doing with my band for more than 10 years and just try out some different things and get some other experiences and see how that feels. And it was good. It's been good. I've learned a lot playing with other people and co-writing with other people. So, trying to make a diverse record, not something that it's still a rock record, a heavy rock record. I mean, it's not like a fucking jazz record or anything, but just expand on that a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yep.
What's your favorite Ozzy or Black Sabbath song?
That's a tough question because I have a lot, and a set list on an Ozzy concert is just full of classic and iconic songs. It's hard to just pick a favorite one. I love playing them all, really. I can't say just one. I enjoy playing them all. Who wouldn't, right?
Well, I do.
Yeah.
Can you play some tunes tonight for us?
Some what?
From Ozzy.
I'll play you one right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, that was Screaming.
This one.
That one, right there. Yeah, man.
Do you use in-ear monitoring on stage or
No,
just wedges?
yeah, not even wedges. I just actually turn up the amp. And I don't rely much on wedges, just a little bit.
What do you want to hear on them, or
Just mainly drums and a little bit of and my voice and a little bit of guitar, just a tiny bit. Anybody, guys?
Who's your favorite Ozzy guitarist before you came?
Oh man, really, all of them, man. Because,
Randy Rhoads?
Huh?
Randy Rhoads?
No, I would say all of them. I mean, I'm a Tony Iommi freak, I have to say. I love everything Tony Iommi's ever done. So, but all the guys, you know, in his band, in Ozzy's band, it was just growing up, and I loved all those records, you know. Of course, the first 2 records and Jake records, and you know the stuff with Zach later on. So it's just like part of your, like if you're a metalhead, this is like your discography, you know, your record collection. It's hard to pick and choose, and I think everything was special for me for different reasons, you know.
how long did it take for Firewind to get known, and how did that go?
Well, I mean, Firewind is a band that started kind of backwards. It started as a internet project. You know, I got signed to a small label in the States, and they helped me to put a band together with studio guys that I didn't know. So we did the first couple of records with just like exchanging MP3 files like that, and our records were getting pretty popular in Japan, and we were asked to play a tour there, and that's when I realized that I needed a proper band. Yeah, it took me a couple of years to find the right people. We basically started by doing our first tour in Japan, and then after that we got picked up by Century Media Records, and yeah, just through a lot of touring basically. You know, that was the way to go, making record after record and touring a lot, and yeah.
And then we Graspop.
Graspop, man, we played there. Well, yeah, we played 3 times there. It was always a good reaction there. I remember we played there in 2008 in the small tent, and the next time we were invited the next year in the bigger tent, and then the next time was like the main stage, and you know.
Yeah, as I was saying, you were zombie, Rob Zombie. I think it was you were Rob Zombie.
What?
I think you were that year with Rob Zombie.
I don't remember.
Don't you watch like other guys when you're like waiting for?
No, man. It's like, I mean, it's like the reality is this: you take an early flight at 6 a.m. to go to wherever you have to fucking fly to. You get picked up by a shuttle driver, and then you drive 2 hours in the middle of nowhere in the field to play the festival. You probably, when you get there, you have a couple of hours to get ready. You know, by the time you pick up all your accreditation, they take you to your little fucking dressing room and you warm up and you see what's happening, and it takes you 20 minutes to drive to go to another stage, and you play a gig, and then after that it's usually like a signing session or some interviews, and then it's like another hour to drive to some hotel in the middle of the woods, and then you have to get up at 3 a.m. in the morning to go be 6 a.m. at the airport to go either to another festival or back home. So that's, you know, and in between all that you play for 40 minutes on stage.
Did you never like when there was a certain artist you really liked, that you go out of your way just to meet him?
The only time, yeah, I mean, I've done that a couple of times at festivals. Not really, because I
can imagine the 40, 50 bands.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I wanted to see Heaven and Hell back then. I think it was in 2009. I saw them, and then I remember we played in Download in 2008, and I wanted to see Judas Priest and Kiss. And sometimes I watch bands like that if there's time. Yeah. And like I said, if it's a gig where we play early on, then you might stick around, unless, like I said, it's a long drive or whatever. Sometimes we just have to drive, we have to go.
So no driving.
Yeah. And if we play a festival with Ozzy and we're headlining it, obviously we get there 1 hour before the show. So you get there, you play, and then you leave right away. Yeah. So. Yep. The intro from Crazy Train, the riff, yeah.
Why did you go for a 200 watt signature amp instead of a 100 watt, and what's the reason of that?
Well, originally the way it all started is they brought me when I first heard about Blackstar, they wanted me to try one of their amps, and they gave me the Series 1 200 amp, and they brought it in the studio. I was recording a stream, and we tried it out, and we actually ended up using it on the whole album. We loved it so much, and both me and the producer, and we thought it sounded great. And well, the next logical step after that was to try it out live, how it sounds, and it sounded amazing. Everybody was just really liking it, and I was very comfortable with it. So I went on tour with that amp and used it for about 16 months on the road, and it was very consistent. And yeah.
Did you switch out tubes and
Mhm,
preamps? Did you switch out different
No,
preamps
because
and tubes?
for me, what I really liked about the amp was the tubes that came with it. KT88s, that had a really big tone for me, and I really liked that. That's the kind of like the secret weapon of that amp. And then when we were discussing about doing my own amp, it was like based on that 200 watt head. Yeah.
With the KD88?
Yes, still, yeah. Yep.
Was metal the first thing you played, or did you play blues, or where did you start with? Metal or?
I think heavy metal. I mean, the first thing that I played, what I remember was listening to Black Sabbath, and I thought it was really cool and really heavy. But the great thing about Sabbath was that it was very, like if you knew a power chord, it was very easy to play all the songs. And that was very, if you're 15, that's the band. It inspires anybody to just pick up the guitar and play that. And the cool thing about it is that you don't have to be a great virtuoso to play that. And there's a great satisfaction about that. If you can play just a couple of riffs and then all of a sudden you can play Iron Man, and that's the coolest thing in the world. And it still is, no matter what your level of playing is. So I think, for me it was, well, the reason why I picked up the guitar was Peter Frampton, actually. So from Peter Frampton I went to, a lot of classic rock stuff that my dad had at home, like Eagles and Pink Floyd and stuff like that. And then, like I said, when I heard Black Sabbath, it was like a whole other level of cool. Where did you go? Oh yeah, that's one of our bands. Yeah, I've been there. Oh, yeah. I actually played there last year.
Making all kinds of stuff from all the trees. And there was a little 14-year-old boy playing old metal. And I And is it more popular in Greece? That was my question.
Yeah, I would say, well, heavy metal is not like it's not like mainstream music that you hear on radio or anything like that. But it's definitely a big rock audience for sure. That goes to a lot of gigs and yeah.
So that 3 times in 1 week, and I've never seen it 3 times in 10 years.
Yeah, because metal is not popular here in Holland.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
a big fan. I
Huh?
don't see it a lot in the streets.
I don't see a lot in the streets where I live either. Maybe it was just coincidence there.
Yeah.
Especially when you go to small island like that, you wouldn't expect to see it like that. But
Every guy I saw playing, I think about you.
yeah, maybe he's a young me 20 years from now, right? You're probably thinking that, well, Gus grew up in the street, drinking olive oil and playing mix and yeah. Yeah, man. Who was it before? Somebody raised their hands and I didn't see it? Or no? No? And yes. The best gig I've seen? I don't know. I don't know. I've seen many great gigs, I can't remember now. Well, sometimes gigs have a special meaning to us because whether it's your first show or whether it's it's you're going through a period in your life and it's a special gig means a gig becomes special to you. For example, I remember when I was 14 and I was visiting my uncle in America and we went to see the Eagles, which is not a heavy metal band, but I remember seeing that was like their first reunion they did in '94, and that was like a big wow for me. It was amazing playing in a big stadium in Miami, and it was just a great show. Another special gig for me was seeing Ozzy in '98, again in America, at Ozfest, and yeah, that was very cool. What else? Seeing Black Sabbath in 2005. I mean, basically, I got to tour with Sabbath and Iron Maiden on Ozfest 2005, and I was doing a short stint with Arch Enemy, and I tried to watch every show on the whole tour, both Iron Maiden and Sabbath. What else? Another special gig, actually, speaking of Maiden, I remember in, what year was it? Probably '95, yeah. Iron Maiden came to my hometown in Thessaloniki in Greece, and that was the only time they ever played there. That was like on X Factor, the first tour they did without Bruce Dickinson, but it was big news for us then. And Iron Maiden's coming to town, and yeah, that was a very special show, I guess. So a lot of gigs like that, it was just like it was more about their significance, about the special time period or what it was, and so I remember them there. I have the memory of that more as I can't remember if they played great that night or not, but I remember it was just very memorable to me. Yeah. What's your favorite gig? There you go. Let's see how you do that. Yeah. Cool. Alright guys, yeah. Okay.
Do you have some kind of ritual before you go on stage? Like, besides from warming up?
For me, I like to have it quiet backstage before the show, just being in the room with just the band and just hanging out, getting in the zone really, and I don't know, maybe try to work out a little bit, getting your stage armor and warm up and just be focused. Maybe that's more, just spending time with the band there, because usually the whole day you're just fucking around wherever, and people coming and going backstage, or you have guests, it's like a big city and stuff. So I just like it to be very quiet, if possible. Sometimes not possible. Especially hometown gigs, I hate them. Everybody's there, your mom, all your friends, and all your cousins, and we have big families in Greece, and cousins I never met show up. Like, dude, what who are you, man? All right, I'm gonna take maybe one or two last questions, then I'm gonna play one more song, final song for you guys. If anybody has anything to say, or I'll just go on and play.
What do you after the tour? What's the first thing you do after the tour when you are a long time on the road?
I sleep.
You sleep?
I sleep a lot. Yeah. Just take it easy. Yeah. I'm gonna start paying bills. All right, guys.
Another question here.
Oh, where?
Where did you get your most inspiration from for your new album?
Where did I get my inspiration? Where?
Inspiration from for your new album? Do you go to certain places or you listen to certain music?
For my albums?
Yes.
Well, good question. I mean, inspiration. I think it's really anywhere. You know, it's inspiration can be from watching a movie, from from a special period, or just from a tour, or just anything. Watching something on TV, or something you're going through, something personal, whether it's good or bad. Usually, it's the saddest times that inspire me to write songs, or whatever. Or it could be just nothing, just out of noodling guitar in my living room, and then one day, whoop, that's one cool idea, and just record it. And it's hard to say. I really don't know where songs come from. It's just something that comes from within. And I don't feel inspired, of course, every day. I go through periods, and I might have I might go through a period where it's just like for a week I just spit out riffs and I just record a bunch of stuff, and then there's like nothing for months, which is very strange. I'm sure a lot of people, yeah, I'm sure it happens to a lot of musicians, but yeah, I'm not really good. I can't really sit down and be like, well, I'm gonna do something now. Not really good when I try that.
Sounds really familiar.
So yeah, I'm sure you guys go through the same stuff. Yeah. All right. All right, let's do the last song for today.